Cobra Commander issue number 1. Don't forget, we're doing the entire run. There's only 5 issues in this run, and you're gonna get them all right here. We're starting with this one. Look at this cover. This is absolutely amazing. It's killing it. Probably one of my favorite Cobra Commander covers I've ever seen. I love it. Now let's get into it. And would you do me a huge solid and please hit the subscribe button? We're doing all the Energon universe over here. So if you like this stuff, why not join us? It's awesome. Let's have a great time. The issue begins in no man's land. You can see like the snow's coming down. There's just a little bar off into the distance with some truck drivers. And in comes Cobra Commander. Well, technically, he's not Cobra Commander yet. But he walks in there and he's like, I need a vehicle. I need something. We don't know how he got there. We don't know what he's doing there. And they look at him funny and laugh, kind of like that scene in Terminator 2 when Arnold walks in. They're like, hey, you don't belong here. You're not from around here, are you? So then one of the guys who had too much to drink kind of slaps him on the back and is like, the circus is in town. And he's walking out to his vehicle and you hear a voice, your vehicle will do nicely. Then we get this layout. Obviously, the guy gets brutally destroyed. You know, it's YouTube. I want to be careful. You see blood splattering everywhere. The owner of the bar comes out and they're like, hey, Jimmy, you forgot to... He turns around and sees what has happened. And look at this final shot of this man laying in blood with a little Cobra insignia in the snow. Then we go into the past to a place where I was like, what is this place? And to my surprise, this is Cobra La. And I'm shocked that they decided to use this because some people loved Cobra La, some people hated it. But here we go. You can see a giant explosion happens and the people are screaming, Cobra La 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 La. I don't think I could do it justice, but I tried. You can see a bunch of the scientists are trapped inside as the mob is trying to get to them. And this one person was like, we must retreat. We must retreat. And immediately he gets like shot in the head. And obviously this person is Cobra Commander, even though he's not Cobra Commander yet. Shoots the guy on the ground. He's like, no one's retreating. We got one goal. We've got to protect this research. They start throwing things. And one person was like, should I throw this as well? The Cobra Commander looks back and is like, you fool. A giant explosion happens, killing most of the scientists and I guess people in there. And then it gets to him laying in his bed, I believe. And he is just messed up. Like he's pretty much dead. You can see the snakes like injecting venom into him, just trying to save his life. And we go through a sequence of him just resting. Bandages all over his face, all over his body. And then you see the Cobra Commander helmet by his bedside. He then takes it and he looks at it. And in comes Pythona. She comes in and says, you've been summoned. So he starts to get dressed and he's just walking through the depths of Cobra La. He then stands before the leader of Cobra La, Globulus. And forgive me if I'm messing up these names, but that's how I've always read them. And he is angry at him because he's like, listen, we only like the organic. We don't like metal and all that other stuff. And the research that you're doing has upset so many people. And Cobra Commander is like, look, I'm loyal to the cause. I am loyal to Cobra La. Just trust me. And he's like, no, I think you're lying. You know, I don't know what you're doing. You're becoming a traitor. He then sends his men after him. And the commander like opens up some kind of bugs, some kind of weapon that look like bugs. And he throws them at the people attacking him. And they pretty much all die. They like explode. There's blood everywhere. And this whole series is like very graphic. He's like, look, I need you to trust me. This is for the future of Cobra La. You know, you're my lord. And if we can continue this research, we could dominate the outside world. Put me on this special mission and we can get it done. He then convinces Globulus to say, all right. And you can see him walking back to his laboratory. And this is the coolest part. He walks into the lab and he's talking to the machine. He's like, you've served me well, machine. I was honest with Globulus. My loyalty is to him, and Cobra La is steadfast. And when he looks at the machine, it's freaking Megatron. This is where Megatron was. You know, when we were going through the Transformers, we're like, where the heck is Megatron? This is where he is. It's unbelievable. And then he's like, man, we got to figure this out because we got to find the others. We can have these powerful weapons. And then he starts torturing Megatron again, you know, to try to get some kind of reaction. And he's like, your sacrifice has shown me that there are other energy signatures similar to yours in the outside world. I'm going to track them down and learn about this energy. So the Cobra commander, which he's not yet, he wants to learn about the Energon, right? Because that will power the weaponry for him to take over the world. And this is the last part that you see of Megatron. He's like going through the torture, doesn't say anything. He just looks up and smiles, you know, because he's plotting. And then we get back into, I guess, the present day where Cobra Commander is met by someone from Cobra Law that's going to watch him, I guess, and make sure that he doesn't like mess anything up. So he's like, all right, well, if you're going to be with me, I need you to take me to Florida. And here it is. The end of the issue number 1, you see the Dreadnoks. So they're definitely in Central Florida. Zartan and his boys, the Dreadnoks. This is coming up in the next issue. Let's get right into it. Cobra Commander issue number 2. Look at that cover. You got the commander fighting one of the Dreadnoks. You know, like, he doesn't have his army yet. This is starting the whole thing out. He's not technically Cobra Commander either. This is a gruesome issue. We begin with 2 of the Dreadnoks. I think that's Buzzer and Ripper, and they've got 2 men tied up in some kind of torture chamber. You can see they're just like slicing and dicing, and there's blood splattering all over the place. They're trying to get answers, you know, from questions. They bring the other guy. He's all tied up. And I guess he gave him the information that they wanted. He goes, you said you'd let me go. He says, no, we said we'd give you a ride. They got him chained to the back of their truck, and they're just pulling him, and you can see them laughing and just splat. So either his arms ripped off or the guy just exploded. This is insane. We then get to the commander and his bodyguard. It looks like they're doing a boat ride in the Everglades. Now, he's got a little transmission where he is following the Energon. He's like, he finds this alien energy on his transmitter, and he's going to get it, and it's pinpointed him deep within the Everglades. As you can see, where it looks like he wants to do something to this child that's sticking his tongue out at him, and his guardian's like, don't do that. And commander's like, man, I just hate it here. So he's following his transmitter. He cuts through a fence, and he's walking over, and then we get a small flashback back to Cobra Law, where this guardian, this nemesis, is sent on a mission to keep an eye on the Cobra Commander and make sure he does what he's supposed to do. We then get back. They go back and forth, and he's like, man, I am loyal to Cobra Law. Cobra Commander's been trying to tell everyone that, but nobody believes them, you know? And he's like, I'm ordered to ensure you complete your mission. That's what I'm here to do. And then while they're kind of arguing, like a patrol officer, policeman shows up, and he goes, what are you guys doing here? You shouldn't be here. And especially dressed like that. This is not an area where you're supposed to belong. I need to see some ID. And then Cobra Commander's like, well, if you're in charge, please protect me. So then this nemesis goes over to the cop. He pulls out his gun. He shoots him. Nothing happens. He grabs the man and just headbutts him and blows his head off. Rips his arms off. Holy crap, dude. Just annihilates this cop doing his job. And he's like, Commander? So finally he's escaped, and his tracker brings him on to the Dreadnoks location, their secret hideout. He goes in, and you see freaking bodies hanging, you know, from the ceiling. It's brutal, man. This series is brutal. So he's like trying to track the source. The Dreadnoks come back, and Cobra Commander's like, hey, I stumbled upon something that belongs to me. If you could help me out. And he's like, No, you got to pay the toll. And Commander just pulled out his gun, just starts shooting at him. And the Dreadnoks are just laughing. You know, they're like, maybe we'll call backup. The Commander throws a bomb and blows up their truck. And you can see them like, my baby, I'm going to kill this man. And so they go after him. And then Zartan's sister pulls up. Zarena. She pulls up and's like, hey, stop what you're doing. We've got a meeting. We got something that we got to do. So don't worry about it. Cobra Commander then escapes off into the Everglades. He's following the tracker and he falls into the swamp where you see nothing but killer alligators circling him around him. And that's the end of issue number 2. We're setting everything up. And like I said, this series gets brutal. Wait till you see issue number 3. Cobra Commander issue number 3. This is the most insane, brutal one, but it gives us a taste on how evil, twisted, cunning, smart Cobra Commander actually is, especially in the face of death. The issue starts out with the person from Cobra Law looking for the Commander. Remember, they got into a fight with the Dreadnoks, and the Commander just took off, right? And then he falls into a pit of alligators and he just says, wherever you are, Commander, I hope that you're in pain. And we can clearly see he is in pain. Alligators got him, taking him to the bottom. Cobra Commander's trying to fight him off, you know, then all of a sudden this like arrow just comes down, this spear, and wraps around the alligator. And then we get back to the Dreadnok's lair. You could see my boys walking in there like, hey, everybody, listen up. Zarena's got something to say and no one's listening. So what do? They just shoot somebody to get everyone calm and ready to listen to the orders. This is just how these people are. Brutal, brutal. She then reveals that they have an Energon cube and they were talking about selling it to the highest bidder. They don't know how to use it. And they were talking about the Commander looking for it. And so they're like, I wonder if he's a cop. I wonder who he is. And then all of a sudden, Zartan's brother comes in, right? You guys know who he is, right? Xandar. He comes in with the Commander chained up. And they're like, why don't you ask him yourself? And this is where the comic gets brutal. So they immediately reach to like rip his mask off. It's electrocuted. They start laughing, you know, Buzzer, Ripper. They're just fighting it. That's just what they do. They then call for Torch to try to get the mask removed, and he does everything in his power. And they're like, "Well, it's not coming off." You can see there's a little crack there. So they start the torture. They want to know what he's doing. They want to know who he's working for. They want to know everything. I mean, they're ripping blood vessels out of his arm. They're electrocuting him. They're doing everything that they can. They're hitting him with bats. And look at this right here. Cobra Commander's just sitting in his blood that's been splattered everywhere, and it's like going down the drain. Buzzer then walks over and takes his own blood and puts a happy face on the mask, which makes this episode even creepier. But this is where the Cobra Commander shines. After all that, he just sits there and he listens and he studies. And the first thing that he does is start his manipulation. He starts talking to Xandar. He's just like, hey, your brother sent me on a secret mission. Your sister said this about you. She doesn't trust you. So now he's like putting in he's putting in the minds of everyone like to turn them against each other, and it's starting to work, you know. Ripper comes in and he's just like, you know, your other friend, they don't trust you either. They think you're fake. They think you're this. And all this because the Cobra Commander was learning and watching and seeing how they act. And yeah, now he's got them fighting with each other. Serena comes in and she's like, what did you tell my brother? And she's like, what are you talking about? I didn't do anything. I didn't know what's going on. And you could see that the other Dreadnoks, they're all fighting with each other because Cobra Commander is just awesome. Torch then gets them all to stop, and then we see the Commander finally look up at them and hit a button. Serena's like, what did you just do? And he's like, what do you think I just did? Just the mind games, dude. The mental mind games. They're like, we got to get him out of here. So they pick him up and they take him outside. Look, they got the whole clan, the whole family. And in comes the Nemesis Guardian. And he's like, I told you never to leave my sight. And he goes, I got lost. And then you see like, they try to hit him in the face with a chainsaw. Does absolutely nothing. And then the Cobra commander's like, yeah, you got to defend me. And he's like, you know what? I'm sick of this form. Let me show you what I really am. And he just shreds that flesh that was around his true form. And out comes this monster, you know? And the Dreadnought's like, what are we doing, man? We got to attack. And then all you see is this image of Cobra Commander watching these people get shredded right before his eyes, and that blood-stained smile just adds to the creepiness of this issue. It's just, that last image is wild, man. Like I said, this is a brutal comic with people just dying, getting cut up, heads ripped off, arms, torture. And that's the end of the issue. Let's get right into issue number 4 because we got a big twist and a big reveal coming in. Cobra Commander issue number 4. Look at this cover. Obviously, we know what's happening. Looks like there's going to be a betrayal, and there's also an amazing reveal at the end. It appears that in the middle of all the chaos, Cobra Commander was able to get Ripper and take him to a secret cave where he's like, you just got to stay here. I got to point out some things in this issue that are just amazing. So he brings him to this secret tunnel and he's like, I need you to open it. And then the way that a cool, calm leader, person that knows he's in charge, person that knows that he's always winning when everyone thought he wasn't, just the way that they have Cobra Commander talking in this series and his actions just make him awesome, man. This is the Cobra Commander I always wanted to see in G.I. Joe. Like, he says stuff like this. It is in your best interest to stay here. He knows he's going to stay here. He knows that he's not going to run away while he goes exploring the cave. He goes down there, he wipes the blood, that smile blood off his helmet, and he's just looking around. And then he finds a scientist. And the scientist is like, are you here to save me? And the commander's like, yes. So he's already starting the mental gymnastics, you know, like getting this man his trust. Obviously, he's been tortured down here, making weapons. We then get back to the fight with the Nemesis and the Dreadnoughts, and it looks like Torch is done. It says, look, they got Torch. You got the brother and sister. They're fighting. They don't know what to do. And you could see the clan, just almost all of them slaughtered, except for our stars, you know. And they're like, we don't know what we're going to do. This guy got wings. He could fly. And they're like, we're going to come up with something. Buzzer runs out there, and he gets picked up by Nemesis and just taken up into the air and then dropped into the Everglades. Xandar goes back inside and rips off a piece of the Energon cube, puts it in a bottle, chucks it at Nemesis, and then shoots it, causing an explosion that gives them enough time to rescue Buzzer and Torch and get them on their airboat and get them out. Nemesis was like, you know what? Enough of these people. I've got better things to do. We then get back to the lab with Cobra Commander looking at the weapons made using the Energon. He's like, this is remarkable. How is this possible? Show me how this works, how they can convert it into energy to power weapons. And he takes this energy and puts it in his bugs, right? I'm sure there's a proper term for these things. I just can't remember, but he puts them in there and he's like, the Energon is making these a super weapon. Cobra Commander, still faithful to Cobra-La's Lord Globulus will be pleased. He looks over at the scientist who thinks he's about to be freed and says, we're going to get you a much bigger lab. This poor man's like, I don't want to be here. I've been tortured. I've been forced to do this. And, well, that's what happens when you meet Cobra Commander. You're stuck. He then climbs out of the tunnel, and there's Nemesis, and he's like, a success? He's like, yes, very much so. Like, we're going to make weapons. This is going to be great for the future of Cobra-La. This is going to be awesome. And so he's like, let's go back home. But Nemesis doesn't move. He stands there. And Commander says, what are you doing, you imbecile? Move! I love Commander. He's just like, he doesn't take crap from no one. And he always knows he's in charge in this series. This is great writing. Nemesis pushes him down. He's like, I'm doing my duty. He goes, you were here to protect me and help my mission. And then you could see like Buzzer's getting away. He's like, this is between you two. He's like, get him, we need him. He's like, nope, your mission is over. I don't have to take orders from you. And Commander figures it out. You're here to kill me. And the fight begins. Commander is still trying to say, listen, I have been loyal to Cobra La this entire time. Like, what are you guys doing? He's throwing things at him. He's being chased into the Everglades. And Nemesis is just talking. He's like, you're a snake. No one liked you. You tried to manipulate and tarnish our world with metal and with weapons. And this whole time, Cobra Commander's trying to figure it out. Like, what am I going to do here? How am I going to beat this guy? And he's like, we don't need you. So first he comes at him with a chainsaw that's laying around. Nemesis grabs his face mask, while being electrocuted, and rips it off his face. Then he takes him up and he flies him down into the ground. Cobra Commander should be dead, man. He's already been through torture. He's already been through so much. And now he's got to fight Nemesis. And he's just being pounded into the ground. And he's still fighting. He's like, I will not just lay down and die. And Nemesis is like, go ahead. Go ahead and run. He goes up for this huge aerial attack. And the commander puts together his bug weapon. And it makes like an Iron Man style like fist with the Energon. Looks up at the Nemesis and blasts him while he's in the sky. Oh my gosh, it's freaking awesome. I love this version of Cobra Commander. We then get back to Ripper, and Cobra Commander has found him. Cobra Commander puts a chain around his neck and pulls him down. And he's like, now I need some information from you. I need to know who wants to buy this Energon. You need to tell me. I need a name. And he says, Destro. That's the name he's given. This is our first look at Mars Industries. You could see they got all the tanks, they got all the choppers, they got everything. And Destro's just looking over all his military equipment. Our first look at Destro. This is amazing. I love it. I love this origin story. And we only got one issue left to complete this series as they're building this amazing universe with G.I. Joe, Cobra, and Transformers. Cobra Commander issue number 5, the final installment in this mini series. This is the birth of Cobra. Look at this cover. This cover is awesome. I think I need to get this and get this graded as well. It's freaking awesome. And I really hope you all have enjoyed this series just as much as I have. The issue begins with Mars being attacked all over America. We got Colorado, Nevada, Alaska. All his plants are being attacked, and Destro wants to know what is going on. Who is doing this, and who has been stealing from me? Well, guess who makes another appearance? It's Ripper. He's back again, and he's the messenger for Cobra Commander. And they're saying, look, no one stole anything from you, Destro. This was a message. Maybe we should kill the messenger. And they give Destro this piece of paper, and it's an invitation to meet the Cobra Commander somewhere. So Destro's like, all right, okay. Let's get the helicopters ready. Let's get our men ready. Let's go out. So they go to this location in the middle of nowhere. They land the helicopter. All the troops get out. They still have Ripper with them. So he's not going anywhere. The guy that once did all the torturing is now being tortured by the end of this series. So they land in the middle of the street, and all of a sudden this weird thing pops up from the ground, and they don't know what's going on, and ambush. Destro's men get ambushed. Laser beams are going everywhere. Everyone's getting killed and shot up, and there's no one left. And look who emerges but Cobra Commander. He goes, I thought you might appreciate the theatrics. Unbelievable. You got Mercer that wants to fight him, so he goes and picks him up, and he's like, I'll allow you both to live, and this is how you repay me? He's like, let me kill him, boss. He goes, trust me, let me kill him. He goes, no. Destro's like, let him down. Let me hear what he has to say. The commander says, I have an opportunity for you if you will just follow me. So he takes him to the secret laboratory where they're harvesting energy from the Energon. And he introduces him to the scientist. The scientist was like, will you please kill me? And he's like, look, I built this small town. I developed this technology, and I have watched you, Destro. You know, I've watched you from afar. I think you would be perfect. Look, we got a twins sighting there. We've got a storm shadow sighting. So Cobra Commander has been watching all these people to put together the ultimate team to take over the world. And he goes, listen, I've also created a super soldier with this new form of alien energy. And Destro's like, where did you get this energy source? He goes, it's mine. Listen, watch. So he sends out one super soldier to kill off Cobra Commander's loyal subjects from the town. I don't like just a bunch of random people. And he's like, you would kill your own men? He's like, there's always more where that came from. Besides, fear and hate are useful for keeping people in line. And he looks at Destro and he goes, listen, a new world order is coming and it will be in my grasp. I need tanks. I need helicopters. I need everything that you have. And we can do this together. So they make a pact. They shake hands and make a pact. And Destro goes, who are you? And now we get the full costume, the Cobra Commander costume. It's freaking awesome. I love seeing it. He goes, I am the future. And they begin to walk into, I guess, his version of the White House, you know? And he's like, he opens up the door and he's like, he sees all his subjects, you know, and he unveils the ultimate Cobra symbol. He goes, we are Cobra. And everyone is cheering, thunderous applause. And this is the birth of Cobra. And I freaking love it. If you get an opportunity and you want to read this for yourself, I think you guys would love it. Then we get back to Cobra Law. And they find out that Nemesis didn't win, that Cobra Commander is a thing, and that they've betrayed everyone. And he's like, all right, listen, we've got to go figure out, we got to go find these Titans, basically the Transformers. We've got to figure out their weakness. We got to figure out their history. We've got to know everything about them. So he sends a group out to go find Cybertron. And that is the end of this series. To set up something, I don't know, but we're going to get into it, I guess. It has been incredible. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this introduction into Cobra Commander. I loved it, and I appreciate you guys being here. If you made it all the way to the end, can you just write Cobra Commander in the comment section? That means you watched almost 30 minutes of a comic book series, and that just makes me happy. That makes me happy. But anyway, this is Jay, and we will catch you on the next one, which I think is going to be Duke. We'll see you then.